At 11 p.m., my wife smirked and confessed, "I slept with my boss, and I'd do it again." I just finished my reply, and the look on her face left everyone at the room stunned. Welcome to Betrayal Broadcast, where love turns to lies and revenge writes the final chapter. At 11 p.m., my wife smirked and confessed, "I slept with my boss, and I'd do it again." The room went silent. The air thick. Her words hung there like a slow knife twisting in my gut. She said it casually, like she was ordering coffee, like she wasn't tearing apart 7 years of trust with one sentence. My hand didn't move. My face didn't twitch, but something inside me went very, very still. The sound of the TV in the background blurred. The ticking clock sounded like a countdown. I watched her, calm, composed, almost proud. Then she laughed. Not nervous laughter, real laughter. And that's when I realized, this wasn't guilt, it was arrogance. She thought she had me cornered. She thought I'd beg, break, plead for her to love me again. She didn't know I had already stopped loving her weeks ago, when the signs began to show. The perfume that wasn't hers, the late nights that didn't add up, the phone face down on the table, the way she avoided my eyes when she said, "I love you." I knew, but I played dumb, because sometimes silence is sharper than confrontation. So I started watching, tracking, studying her patterns like an equation waiting to be solved. Her team dinners at 9 p.m., her calls from clients that ended when I entered the room, the faint trace of cologne that didn't belong to me. I didn't yell, I didn't accuse. I documented every detail, every lie, every carefully crafted excuse. And then, one night, when she said she had a late meeting, I followed. She didn't see me parked across the street. She didn't see me watch her get into his car. She didn't see the way he touched her hand like it was a habit. I took photos, not for revenge, for truth. The truth has a taste, cold, metallic, final. A week later, I ordered a DNA test, not because we had kids, but because we were planning to. And I wanted to be sure I'd never bring life into a lie. When the results came in, I didn't need to open them. I already knew. But I did anyway. Negative. No pregnancy, no future, just emptiness. That night, she walked into the living room, all confidence and red lipstick, sat across from me, and dropped her confession like a grenade. I slept with my boss, and I'd do it again. She wanted to hurt me. She wanted a reaction, a scream, a slap, anything. Instead, I smiled, just slightly, enough to confuse her, enough to make her blink. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on my knees. My voice was steady. "I know." Her smirk froze. The confidence drained from her eyes like color bleeding out of a photograph. I reached into my drawer, pulled out an envelope, and slid it across the table. Inside, photos, messages, call logs, and a letter. She didn't touch it, just stared at me, her breath uneven. I spoke quietly. "You thought you were clever, but I don't argue with liars. I let them destroy themselves." Her lips trembled. How long have you—" "Long enough," I interrupted. "I wanted to see if you'd stop yourself. You didn't." Tears filled her eyes now, real ones. Too late. She reached out, hand shaking. "Please, we can fix this." I looked at her hand, then at her face, and said, "You already fixed it for me." She frowned, confused, until she noticed the second envelope. This one wasn't photos. It was a signed property transfer. Her name, my lawyer's stamp. "I moved the house to my name last month. You'll get your share, but not this place. You wanted freedom. Now you have it." Her jaw dropped. "You can't." "I can," I said, standing, and I just did. She broke down. The arrogance melted into panic. I watched quietly. No hate, no anger, just clarity. Because this wasn't about revenge. It was about balance. Every lie demands its echo. Every betrayal, its reckoning. She whispered, "You planned this." I nodded. Every step. The silence that followed was the most peaceful sound I'd heard in months. I walked to the door, picked up my coat, and paused. "You said you'd do it again," I said softly. "Make sure your next boss appreciates loyalty." Then I left. The night air hit me, cold, clean, merciless. I didn't feel pain anymore, just release. The kind that only comes when you stop pretending the wound isn't real. Behind me, I could still hear her crying, but that sound didn't belong to me anymore. For the first time, I realized she wasn't my loss. She was my lesson. And some lessons are best learned in silence. Every lie, every betrayal meets its end here. You've just seen what happens when karma strikes back. If this story hit you hard, like, share, and comment your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next Betrayal broadcast is coming soon.